let's talk about President Trump and his recent decision to introduce a $100,000 fee for new H1B Visa applications for the 2026 lottery.
First off, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, Google CEO Sundar Pichai, and Tesla CEO Elon Musk all came into America's workforce on H1B visas. All of them.
Oh, I love chicken cock. I do. I love it.
Hide your kids. Lock the doors. You're listening to HR's most dangerous podcast. Chad Sowash and Joel Cheeseman are here to punch the recruiting industry right where it hurts. Complete with breaking news, brash opinion, and loads of snark. Buckle up, boys and girls. It's time for the Chad and Cheese Podcast.
We got two turntables and a microphone. Hey kids, it's the Chad and Cheese Podcast. I'm your co-host, Joel Tylenol Cheeseman.
And this is Chad. It's pronounced acetaminophen. So wash.
And I'm JT. There is no September Surge O'Donnell.
And I am Emmy. I am finally going on holiday. Better to go.
Yes.
And on this episode of HR's Most Dangerous Podcast, Indeed squeezes, Trump denies, and IBM boomerangs. Let's do this.
Done. I think we'll cover speed and hiring.
Did somebody say speed? Then buckle up, boys. You're about to learn how to hire fast.
Who is that?
Vetty Betty. From Vetty, the hiring acceleration platform. Come on, man. Keep up. What's up, Betty?
Hey, Chad. Vetty makes high compliance hiring easy. Background checks, licensing verifications, and health screenings, all in one place. Real-time updates, no red tape, and no delays. Hiring managers can move fast, stay smooth, and close the deal.
So they just sit back and watch. Hell, I could watch this all day.
That's right. Relax, enjoy the view, and don't lose the hire. It's that simple. With Vetty, it's all taken care of before they can even catch their breath.
Best lesson ever.
Class dismissed, boys. Vetty. Hiring as it should be. Visit vetty.co to learn more.
Okay. Help me out here.
And then there were four.
The UN escalator, teleprompter, UN speech, or stand-up comedy routine, whatever you want to call it. Tylenol creates autism. Jimmy Kimmel is back. What the actual fuck is happening over there, guys? I mean, seriously. I'm coming back in less than a week, and I'm not.
Another week, brother.
Well, I want to know how the Europeans feel about the trash talk that Trump did on Europe.
Oh, you mean that your countries are being ruined?
Dead. The UK is dead.
You need to stop the failed experiment of open borders, and countries are all going to hell. You mean that leadership and inspiration?
That's a pretty good summary.
Inspirational speech.
I don't need Chat GPT. I got Chad GPT to summarize all my European news.
I tell you what we're doing. We're just listening and laughing over here and going, thank God he's not here. Actually, he was here, wasn't he? He was, and we rolled out the carpet for him for some reason. Yeah. But thank God he's not here permanently. Take him back. Well, we don't need him.
Well, it's sunny because the pressure we get over here, I think, is we got marches in Britain. We have meltdowns in France. Drones are in Spain now. Russia's everywhere. We're getting a different view of Europe. I'm glad to hear it's going. It's going on. Yeah. It's going all right.
We're coping. Just.
So, yes. Chad, you're coming back. Good. You're coming home. Chad's coming home, everybody. What's the schedule?
George Washington's coming home. All
Yankee
for Hamilton watch. Coming back. And we got a ton. We'll talk more about it. We got a ton of stuff going on. Excited to see friends and family. I'm going to miss, obviously, going to miss Portugal. Going to miss Europe.
We have some hidden footage of Chad when he realized he had to leave Portugal.
I'm not fucking leaving.
Yeah, that's pretty much sums up what Chad was talking about. Well, geez, with four of us here, shall we get to some shout outs?
Let's do it.
Is it time for shout outs?
It is, Stephen.
All right, guys. This will probably be the only time I ever do this, but my shout out goes out to Tom Brady. Okay, so quick old man story for everybody, because I know that everybody loves them.
You no good punk kids.
So I took my teenage daughter to a concert last night, a band called Inhaler. Young band, young people were there. A lot of Gen Xers with their kids were there. But my daughter looks at me. It's all general admission, so there's no seating anywhere. And she looks at me and says, "My knees hurt." And I said, "Your knees hurt? My whole body hurts. Like, I'm 54 years old." So I was inspired to give Tom Brady a shout out. Why exactly? Well, because he has partnered with a company called Ascape, a massage robotics company with already 100 locations in the U.S. or North America, mostly at the high-end hotels that the Sowashes usually stay at. So for starting at $30, this robot will massage you, will heal you, and get you back up to speed. The one caveat I have is they need to come out with the Giselle robot masseuse, and when that happens, I'm on the year-end unlimited plan, no matter what. But at least this
is
point,
that the one with the soft, tender hands that slowly massages you? Is that what you're going for?
It's the one with the happy ending.
So shout out to Tommy Brady, everybody. Shout out to Tommy.
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, I can't beat that, but my shout out is going to her username on social is Tampa Bre. Her name is Brianna Vanasiski. 14 months ago, she got a real estate license in Florida. 14 months ago. And she is now doing stand-up comedy kind of videos while she tours her homes. So she makes fun of the homes. She makes fun of the people that would buy the homes. These are $1 million homes. She's blowing up. She was headline on the New York Times this week about how she's doing this. And I love it because it reinforces that $480 billion knowledge creator economy I keep talking about, right? The second digital renaissance era is coming. This girl's killing it. You got to go watch her. She's hilarious. You'll love every video. And she's selling homes,
making more doing this than she is selling homes, right?
Well, 100%. Videos, brand deals, and selling the homes. And she's getting listings because why? Everybody wants their home in there.
Yeah. JTS, I thought of you. There's a young married couple that does content. And the husband went online recently and revealed how much they're making doing videos. They're making $50,000 a month doing these silly videos. Yeah, a month. So like $500,000 a year just to make content on all the platforms.
People do not understand.
I'm shocked. It can be done.
You can do faceless content. Like people do do not understand. They're saying it's crazy. 100%. You got a future. You're going to teach underwater basket weaving, Joel. I can see it. You got a future, buddy.
Yeah. Well, our video team actually did one. We asked them to do one Chad and Cheese baby short video. That was hilarious. But yeah, we'll see. There might be more of those kids. Who knows? It might be Chad and Cheese baby podcast.
Chad and Joel could be like an old grumpy, couple, the odd couple. We could do videos and like make more than a stupid podcast.
Yeah,
I like it.
Great.
Oscar and Felix. Here we go.
Here at the Chad and Cheese podcast, one thing that we love is obviously you watching, but also like and subscribe.
Well, I've got 2 shout outs. I'm being greedy this week because I haven't been here for a little while. I know. I am teasing. Right. So for anyone who doesn't know, I have just landed back from Amsterdam. And so I attended and spoke at a conference called the Talent Intelligence Global Talent Strategy and Intelligence Conference. So great 2 days there, learned a lot, met a lot of really interesting, intelligent people. But the highlight for me was someone called Dieter Veldsman. Now, I'm going to say that name again, Dieter Veldsman. Hopefully I've said it correctly. Check him out on LinkedIn. He was inspirational. I mean, I was like kind of starstruck. I'm like, oh my God, I want to be like you. You are amazing. I was like, had to go over to him and like, can you sign my autograph? No, not really, not sign my autograph. I had to tell him how good he was. And his topic was about the major forces shaping talent management in the future. So definitely check this guy out. I'm going to check out his back catalogue. So he is shout out number 1. And Dieter, if you're listening, I told you I was going to shout you out. So once again, amazing job.
We definitely need the touch my monkey sprockets with Dieter.
Does anyone else think talent intelligence is an oxymoron?
Oh no! Oh no! I am not even going to respond to that one.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you. You're above that.
I am way above that.
When Joel
British
goes low,
reason.
you go high. What's your next? What's your next one?
Exactly. And shout out number 2 is actually, weirdly, I'm mentioning LinkedIn. I know on the show we don't always praise LinkedIn, but I'm actually shouting at my LinkedIn community for their support. Cool. So I'll tell you the reason why. For anyone who hasn't seen my post from last week on LinkedIn, I told a story about, I suppose, the aftermath of what I experienced from the United Kingdom March. So for anyone who doesn't know, this is a protest in London, talk about protesting about the number of immigrants coming to the UK. So I think Joel and Chad, you've both said like a UK is like a little America. I 100% agree. We are following America's suit. We are being less tolerant as a society.
There might be a wee problem, boys.
Yeah, not even a wee problem, a fucking big problem over here. But I unfortunately was caught out because I was on a London Underground in the middle of a march with all these protesters around me who were talking about immigration and getting the immigrants out. And I was the only person of colour on that tube. And I was so fearful that I had to actually get off the tube. Yeah, very, very scary environment. And I'm not someone who gets scared easily. So got off the tube, went to my venue. Monday morning, I was still thinking about it, wrote the post on LinkedIn and said, hey, you know, what's happening to the UK? This is my experience. For the first time ever in my whole time of being on LinkedIn, I got trolled. Loads of people saying I was a racist, that I didn't actually like white people myself. Little did they know the background of my boyfriend, telling me to go back to Nigeria. And I was like, wow, this is a problem. But you know what was great? Yeah. I mean, people reached out, people I hadn't spoken to in years, colleagues, friends, people who didn't even know me reached out, either commented on my LinkedIn post or actually sent me a direct message. I had people text me directly to see if I was okay. So I just want to say thank you to LinkedIn community. Thank you very much for your support.
Were there direct threats on the train, or just dirty looks, or you just felt like an ominous sort of presence?
Well, initially, because I was listening to a podcast, unfortunately not the Chad and Cheese podcast this time, but I was listening to a podcast and I looked up and I was like, what is going on? What is this chanting? Took out my headphones. And then that's when I started to hear the chants about get immigrants out of the country. And I looked around and I'm like, okay, I'm the only person of color on this tube. And I'm in the center of the tube. It's like, how the hell do I get out of this situation? So yeah, I wanted to, in the ideal world, I wanted to stand up for myself and go, hey, what are you talking about? But I was by myself. I was fearful. Yeah. So I got the hell out of there as quickly as I could.
You're not changing any minds on that too. And for all the kids out there, for 20 years of military training, situational awareness, everybody is wearing these things all the time. They're looking down their phones. They have no knowledge of what the hell is going on around them because we zone out, right? Take one out, do something, but be aware. Please.
Don't fall for the banana
You're not gonna
and
fall
the
for the banana and the tailpipe.
No. So my shout out, I'm glad to hear that you're safe, Emmy. My shout out is for standing for something or falling for anything. So yesterday I received a DM pointing me to a LinkedIn post from the National Online Recruitment Awards, aka the NORAs. It read, quote, huge congratulations to our finalists for the Best National Recruitment Agency Award. And who was on the list? Randstad. Yes, Randstad, the same company who dumped hundreds of Monster employees without pay, severance, or benefits. When I reached out to Matteo Nicolo, who's actually on the show, director of international sales at Monster, he said, I truly think that Randstad does not deserve any award with what they did with the Monster employees. Exclamation point. Their social butchery, that's interesting, social butchery, is against any ethical principle and in stark contrast with the cherished values of the Randstad founder, end quote. Now, I respect Stephen O'Donnell. I think we probably all know him, who runs the NORAs. He's a solid dude, really like him. But when I pushed him on why Ronstadt is being celebrated and why the Noras in their 25th year would even associate with Ronstadt, he said, quote, "Thanks for your perspective, and you're not wrong. The Noras is judging the UK website of Ronstadt in this instance and recognizing the people who work hard to make it effective for job seekers. Here's the problem. When good people you believe would stand up, choose to look the other way, companies like Ronstadt get a free fucking pass. And in our industry, the human industry, we're in a human industry, right? That's unacceptable. So I don't care if the award was about Ronstadt's fucking website. You strip it down and it's still about people. It's always about people. And Ronstadt has already shown exactly how much people matter and or do not matter for them. So just a subtle reminder for all the kids out there. If you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. That's some free advice. You done messed up, Aaron! From Uncle Chad. And now for some free stuff.
No free shit for Ronstadt. No free shit. That's right. Jeez,
No,
what
they
in
are getting
the hell is
buckled.
going on there? Oh my god.
Oh, I like free stuff.
Yes. We do love free stuff here. So as usual, we got loads of free stuff to give away. So we've got whiskey. So actually, do you know what? Whiskey is actually my new favorite drink after being introduced to it. You know.
What was it before whiskey?
Tequila.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a
You're
tequila
maturing.
girl.
This is a maturing process.
This is 2025, Emmy. So 2025, Emmy is.
Can Chad Cheese take credit for this growth, this personal growth in your
partially?
Okay, yeah, we could go down that route. Yeah.
Okay.
So, like I said, it's my new favorite drink. So anyone who's into whiskey wants the good stuff, you can get that from Van Hack. And if whiskey's not your thing, if craft beer is your thing, then absolutely we can give that away as courtesy of Aspen Tech Labs. If you want a t-shirt, hold on a second, can you see my t-shirt? I'm not sure if I'm showing my boobs instead of my t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this nice soft fluffy t-shirt. If you want one of these, well, Erin App are giving those away. And finally, if it's your birthday, just forget the cake. You can get free rum with plum.
That's right.
Tension in the air right now.
Go to chadcheese.com/free.
Absolutely.
That's right, guys. Celebrating another trip around the sun for Betsy Norris, Robert St. Jacques, Sen Luchins, Valerie Doyle, Caitlin Grady, Ryan McGrath, Leah Griffin, Kelly Robinson, Katrina Kibben, George Dobbin.
Welcome to All Things Scottish.
There he
Our
is.
slogan is, if it's no Scottish, it's crap!
That's right. John Sumser, Allison Holbrook, and Casey Dockendorf all celebrate a birthday this week.
That's Sean Luchins, but yes,
I know. Spell check. God damn it.
All right, real quick, we got to.
I did say I went to a concert last night and then tried to put all these notes together. So I may have had a few PBRs at the show.
Kids, don't forget, we're going to Louisville with Havas People. So if you are in Louisville and you are an HR and or TA, register to meet up with us at Chicken Cock's new speakeasy, brand fucking spanking new, brand new. This is a Chad and Cheese gig here. For a few hours, we're going to be talking shop and drinking some Chicken Cock whiskey. That's on October 3rd. Just Jim.
Oh, I love Chicken Cock.
DM Cheeseman.
I do.
He'll hook you up. So DM Cheeseman. Then we roll down to Nashville for Wreckfest, where our favorite Scotsman, Stephen McGrath, will be joining us as we MC the Disrupt stage on October 15th.
Where are we going, boys?
Tons of great content on that stage. We'll be showcasing practitioners, which we always want to see, like Derek Gelladon, Laura Stapleton, and Jay Patel's discussion on preventing AI fraud. Shay Johnson's talk on breaking the job board cycle. Hopefully that means killing Indeed. And David Weinstock's talk about the 5 must-have agents for talent acquisition with sponsors Jovio, Dahlia, and Covey. So for great topics and practitioner discussions, come to the Disrupt stage, pitch a tent, and bring your notebooks. Real quick sneak peek. In November, we're headed to San Francisco, San Diego, and Dallas for RL100, which means if you're in TA, you're a TA leader, Head over to resourceleaders.co to check out and register to be in the room where the big discussions happen. RL 100 is a small group, closed door event. No recordings, just frank leadership, frank talk, technical discussions, that kind of stuff. This November, again, San Francisco, San Diego, and Dallas. Resourceleaders.co.
Did you mention my gig in San Diego with Jeff Taylor, founder of Monster.com?
I did not. The Jeff Taylor sandwich that's going to be happening.
The Jeff Taylor sandwich. Yeah, I'm going to have to go see your deal, Chad, so I don't ask him the same questions. And I'm probably going to have to be a little nicer to him after you get done with them. But yeah, I'll be at ere.net for more information, but I'll be in San Diego November 4th, 5th, or 6th, around there. Please sign up. I'm going to be on stage with the Jeff Taylor, founder of Monster, current new founder of Boom Band, which we're going to try to get down to the bottom of. But geez, just so much sexy's going on with Chad and Cheese. I'm going to throw some more in. Because week 3 of fantasy football is in the books. Sponsored by our friends at Factory Fix. Here's your power rankings after week 3 in fantasy football. Number 1, we have Courtney Nitschke-Napko, followed by Mackenzie Montana Maitland, David Staubach Stiefel, Megan Ray Lewis Radigan. I'm at number 5. No nickname required.
Wow, that was a huge drop.
It was. I got my ass kicked this week. But it turns out if you have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow goes out for the season, Jamar Chase struggles. So I'm kind of going to get hurt adjacent to that. Anyway, followed by Jason Peyton Putnam, William the Fridge Carrington, Stephen the Scottish Hammer.
Welcome to All Things Scottish. Our slogan is, if it's no Scottish, it's crap!
McGrath, he wants to get to that bottom spot, but he can't quite do it yet. Followed by Jada Rocky Blyard Weiler, Ginger Deacon Dodds, Chad OJ Sowash, and following at the bottom, you like the OJ? I thought that was a nice touch. Followed by the bottom, Jeremy Shockey Roberts. And that is week 3, your roundup of fantasy football, sponsored by our friends at Factory Fix. And with that, shall we get to some topics, everybody? You want to talk about some stuff that went on this week?
Topics!
One question. Were we going to talk about the whole Muse thing that's happening? We're going to talk about that at all?
What's happening?
I didn't look. You threw it out.
Let me just hit it real quick so the listeners can hear.
You want to do like
happening.
just hot off the presses?
Hot off the presses, man. So Richard Dillman, that's his name, Richard Dillman, senior director of engineering over at the Muse, posted on LinkedIn starting with, this is just a LinkedIn post, quote, "Our company, the Muse, has been acquired, and as part of the transition, the engineering team has been let go." End quote. And Richard goes on to pretty much talk about how he and his team have performed, what they've done, et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of like a living almost resume to try to get his people a job, right? What I thought was weird is that there was no mention of acquisition via press release, no mention on the website. Richard was still listed as a leader on the website. I even posted on LinkedIn asking if anyone knew anything, and literally got nothing. So I guess the question is the Muse really just winding down operations? And Richard felt like it might be better for optics to say that they got acquired. I mean, if not, if this is an acquisition, who the fuck would buy the Muse?
I think there's your answer with the feedback from us, Chad. Didn't the Muse... Did Raiden
bought Fairy God Boss?
Oh, they bought Fairy God Boss.
Yeah. Which again, another dying company, and it's just kind of like, and I think this was your two dinosaurs kind of like holding each other during the meteor storm.
I mean, look, the economy is not good for the second tier, third tier players.
Oh, God, no.
I mean, the Muse was built on events and culture and a lot of like fuzzy, warm and
video
fuzzy
production
stuff. And which has really been surpassed. I think also they were focused on the college market, and JT's talked in nauseum about how tough it is to get an entry level job and be, a college graduate. So I think a lot of probably perfect storm came together. And I mean, how did you go broke? A little bit at a time, and then all of a sudden, this sounds like the all of a sudden from Muse.
Again, I don't want to take too much time on the Muse because it is, go figure, the Muse, but had to throw it out there because we've talked about them over the years. And I thought it was interesting that they said that they were acquired. There's no proof that there was an acquisition at all.
Yeah.
It sounds more like a wind down.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about, ZipRecruiter losing, I don't know, maybe the single form
Plumber?
of intelligent life at ZipRecruiter. And that's a very telling sign for their business. And, the rats leaving the sinking ship. We're probably going to talk about more stories like this as the year goes on.
Yeah.
Just my initial thoughts.
Matt Plummer leaving ZipRecruiter is big.
That's huge. Yeah. He had been there for a long, long time, and he was kind of the face, really, of the organization.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of faces of organizations, let's talk about President Trump and his recent decision to introduce a $100,000 fee for new H1B Visa applications for the 2026 lottery, as well as a gold card visa starting at $1 million. The policy, sparing current holders, has raised concerns from tech firms like Amazon and critics who say it will hurt U.S. competitiveness and push companies overseas. Supporters, however, like Netflix CEO, argue it prioritizes American jobs. $100K for an H1B visa. Chad, your thoughts?
So first off, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, Google CEO Sundar Pichai, and Tesla CEO Elon Musk all came into America's workforce on H1B visas. All of them. But let's be clear. This initiative won't hurt Google, Microsoft, Amazon, or Reed Hastings and Netflix, or any other company that's willing to pay exorbitant salaries. See Meta's $100 million poaching spree, right? So it's one of the reasons why Reed Hastings said this was a good idea. Reed knows this will cut down competition dramatically for top H1B level talent, and smarter startups won't have a fucking chance. So it's good for big companies, but small companies can't afford an extra $100,000 on top of the median salary for H1B visa holders, which is around the mid 90,000 range, right? So you're looking at least $200,000 just to get one of these individuals in, salary plus the fee, right? And that's 6 years down the road as well. So startups won't be able to compete. Now let's talk about brain gain. That's what the H1B visa program promoted. It was brain gain, where America is consistently and constantly receiving and keeping genius level talent. And if this program is carved into stone, like it sounds like it's going to be, the brain gain initiative at genius level is now pretty much gone. Academia revenues take even a bigger hit. I believe last week we talked about how many universities are already seeing dramatically lower enrollment. And this is from foreign students. And why is that important? Well, foreign-born students pay full freight to attend American universities. So that revenue loss will end up in job loss. Plus, the likelihood of getting an H-1B visa is higher if you completed a degree in an American university. So less revenue, and even less genius level talent in America. So what should companies do? Companies obviously need to start spending money in their communities, training and educating the people in the communities. That creates the next genius level candidates in America. And this isn't a but, this is an and, or an or, it's an and. They need to continue to try to bring in diverse talent through the H-1B visa programs. Don't drop it, right? What most companies will do though, they will open locations across the pond, get the same talent for less. And instead of those salaries being spent in American communities, it's going to be spent in other countries, right? So does the H-1B visa program need fine-tuned? Yes, of course it does. Unfortunately, this will gut the program. It will gut GDP and negatively impact communities all over the United States. Gonna take a break.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Yeah. So on the job seeker site, look, this has already been happening, right? I was talking to a CHRO who said, JT, I can hire 3 PhDs in Europe for the price of 1 in the US. So this kind of movement's been going on for a while. I just think it's going to speed it up. You're going to see a lot of startups who just offshore everything, We are all friends with companies here now that are building businesses, people we know that are building businesses in our space, and the way they do it is offshore, so this is just speeding that process up, which doesn't surprise me. The one thing I'm not going to challenge you on, Joel, Chad, but I take a different take. I think that we've got to get everyone thinking as a business of one. Stop calling yourself an employee. There's no job security. And if anything, I want to see all this pain that's happening right now in the job market open people's eyes up to you are responsible for your skills, your visibility, your brand. And the sooner you figure that out and start trading your knowledge for money instead of your time for money and putting all your eggs in one basket with one company and a set of golden handcuffs, the more power you're going to have. But that's not going to happen until we stop scaring everybody and convincing everybody that the Holy Grail is a full-time job with benefits with one of these companies. Mm-hmm. And I just think this is going to force the issue. No one's ever going to want to feel this way again with what they're going through. 25% of our unemployed workforce has been out of work over 7 months and are white-collar workers. Mm-hmm. And that's just what we have tracked. So until we, recognize we've got to help people empower themselves. Yes, companies can do some of it, but they also can't guarantee long-term employment anymore. So they have to start looking differently at these people that they're recruiting, and talent needs to look at it a little bit differently too. But, this to me is just something that speeds that whole process up. So there's a silver lining.
That escalated quickly.
So JT, question, obviously you said that, people need to start changing their mindset, but I think I'm just trying to imagine an average job seeker, who's been told that, stay in a company, that's security, progress up the ladder. How are we going to change people's opinions? How are we going to get them to change their mindset and go, hey, there isn't actually job security anymore. And what Trump is doing is actually proving it.
Yeah. Social media, right? Everyone's scrolling. Everyone has a social media of choice. This is where people are discovering and learning and growing. We need to get out there and force and start educating them. Every single person that's listening to this podcast needs to get on LinkedIn with a camera and start telling people stuff, because they don't know until enough of us talk about it, right? Which, was part of what you were saying earlier today, Chad. People have to get more informed. And the only way they're going to get more informed is when more of us start talking about the truth. The numbers have been wrong for 2 years here, unemployment numbers. I've been screening it, but I'm one person on LinkedIn. When everyone else starts talking about it, people start to pay attention. Great example. Companies would love to hire fractional workers, but you don't put that on a job board. So what do? They go looking for fractional workers. It's a simple thing. If everyone listening here today, if they all put fractional in their headline on LinkedIn, you're going to start open more searches now, because fractional kind of work is going to blow up because full-time work is going away. And so all of this, we could be coaching people on at scale, and, I'm grateful for platforms like this where our team gets educated, but we've got to get out there and help the job seekers en masse. That's my prayer to all of you. Anybody listening, if you want to help, DM me, because we've got to get out there and educate people more on this.
Mm.
I say, Canada.
Don't wreck our show.
Not only will Europe benefit, but Canada should as well. Just like when you go to Dublin, you see Google and all the tech brands. I assume at some point you're going to see on the border tons of tech businesses setting up shop over in Canada.
Oh, 100%. UK is going to pick them up as well.
Yeah,
I don't see this actually working. Yeah.
Canada should go full court press on, we want all the people that you want to hire or bring over. We'll take them in Canada. Yeah. And companies like Van Hack, podcast sponsor, are in a really good position right now to benefit from this legislation. Chad, to piggyback on your recruiting aspect for big companies, it's also a fantastic retention tool, because if someone comes over and you pay $100,000, they're less likely to leave because you've written a pretty big check to get them to come over to America. So not only is it the rich get richer for the fact that they can actually do it, but they can hold on to these people because of the investment and sort of the receipt over everyone's head on how much they spent on this investment. So by my count, there are four ways you can get into America. Illegally, we've pretty much shut that down. Legally, going through all the hoops and hurdles and ladders, and we've pretty much either scared the shit out of everybody from doing that or plugged that up to where that is non-existent. H1B Visa, we just kind of neutered that, with the exception of the biggest companies on the planet.
Right.
And number 4 is you just are really rich and can pay for it. Now, when the gold visa, the gold card with Trump's picture, which I think is just it's just so bad. at my age, I could never imagine the Jimmy Carter gold card back in the 70s. Just wasn't a thing. So this thing was, I think, 5 million when they first introduced it, and no takers. Apparently, no one was willing to pay $5 million to just come to America. So they've reduced it to 1 million to see if. So apparently, rich people don't even want to come here in the width. So we have no immigration. More or less in this country, we have 7,000 baby boomers dying every day. We have fewer workers. We have interest rates that are rising. So the old people that were getting 4% interest and just spending money at high end restaurants and everything, they're getting less money. I mean, this says oppressive recession written all over it. I in a bigger picture thing, we are cutting off our nose to spot our face, and I think it's a total shame. I thought about why does Trump do this? And I typically say, well, Trump is either it makes him and his family richer, or it makes him look good. So I was really curious about what about this makes him look good. And I have a friend who's a GOP pollster, and he sends out a newsletter, and he covered this news story. Trump's sentiment favorability numbers among MAGA faithful increased after this news alert. Why? Because MAGA believes this fee protects U.S. workers. They believe it will drive more investment into U.S. Talent pipelines. They believe that the U.S. will be more selective with top talent, and it will also strengthen, this maybe is the key point, it will strengthen Trump's negotiation stance with India, which is where a lot of these workers come from, as well as throughout Asia. So we can sit here and tear this down, and justifiably so, but in Trump land, in MAGA world, they love this shit. So just wanted to throw that out there because I was really curious about why Trump would do this, why it was a thing, because he's got buddies in Silicon Valley that love it, but now he's getting his cake and eating it too, because Google and Meta's happy because they're squashing the small company, and Trump's happy because MAGA world still loves him. So that's
those
my
big
2 cents
giants,
on
they're
this
going to
issue.
carry on paying because it doesn't actually affect the Googles, the Metas, the Amazon. They've got the money, they've got the deep pockets to still pay for them. So from Trump's point of view, if his messaging is, oh, we are investing in American people, we are going to train up American people, those jobs are going to stay for Americans and not overseas. The soundbite sounds great, but that is to someone who doesn't understand the realities of recruiting, because I'm not being funny. Everyone always had to pay. Employers always had to pay for the visas, not 100,000, but they always had to pay. An organization doesn't want to pay for a visa. They're paying for someone on a visa because they can't get the talent. So if they, and that's what he needs to think about. They're not just throwing away the money and go, oh, hey, let's get someone from India. Let's get someone from China. No, they're doing that because the talent is not there in certain areas. In healthcare, where people are not, it's hard to find people to do the jobs at the salaries that they're willing to pay. So they're having to get people from overseas. And that's what Trump is not thinking about. He's not being smart and going, okay, why hasn't this happened already? And
I think there's also an element of Trump really likes scaring the shit out of everybody, right? I'm sure why would Netflix come out and say awesome deal? Well,
it's good for Netflix.
Netflix gets to look at Disney getting raked over the coals over Jimmy Kimmel, and they're like, we don't want any of that smoke. So if I need to say something nice about this to get Trump off our ass, I'm going to do it. And I think that's a real shame in America that corporatism is so fearful of Trump. And a quick side note, my wife, as most listeners know, is a professor, and she's part of a group of women researchers and scientists. And this whole issue with Tylenol causing so one of the women in this group is an expert on that whole issue and what acetaminophen and everything does. And she wanted to come out against and show the science of how this is wrong. Yeah. Her university said no, because her university is looking at Columbia and looking at Harvard and what's going on everywhere else. They're like, we don't want any of this Trump smoke. So the fear that's filtering down to universities, corporations is real, and it's a real shame.
Yes. Agreed. And just for your small companies, also look at these EOR companies that are out there, because if you can't afford the actual individuals to do some of the software programming or what have you, go to the ERR companies and set them up in a different country. That's what's going to happen. But again, the money's going to be spent somewhere else.
If you haven't subscribed to the show, what's wrong with you? Go to your favorite podcast platform of choice, subscribe to the show, leave us a review. We love all that good stuff. Quick break, and we'll talk about Indeed.
So you posted a new job ad. Now you can sit back and wait for the applications to roll in, right? That's why we built JobPixel. Imagine showing candidates why your company is great with real people, real stories, and real culture. With JobPixel, it's not just another job ad. It's an invitation to something much bigger.
Video gives you a 3 times better response rate. So instead of chasing after candidates, they'll be coming to you.
And with a 34% boost in conversions, candidates aren't just looking, they're applying.
And if you're worried about people clicking away, don't be. Our videos reduce bounce rates by 25%. That means they're watching, they're engaged, and they're interested.
282% more engagement. Yeah, you're going to need a bigger inbox.
Finding the right candidate is tough, but with JobPixel, it doesn't have to be. Show your company's authentic story, and the candidates will follow.
Let's make recruiting fun again, because honestly, it could use some help.
Do you want to see how JobPixel can save you time and money while achieving your KPIs? Schedule a demo today.
All right, guys. Our friends at AIM Group reports Indeed is turning up the heat to move agency clients toward its direct apply feature and disposition sync API by slashing commission for mid-tier agencies from 15% to 10%, but offering a path back to 15% plus a 17% incentive for new client signups if clients implement both of the tools. 2 anonymous agency sources confirmed the pressure tactics. Indeed is strong-arming the little guy in its quest for world domination. Chad, your thoughts?
So let me get this straight. Indeed will graciously allow companies to keep their 5% of new business and potentially existing business. Wait a minute, motherfucker. You mean the business, the agency actually brought to your fucking doorstep? You're going to allow me, after bringing all of this business to you, to actually keep some of that commission. This method instituted by Indeed feels like the slowest method of agency castration. It's painful, but maybe, just maybe, they won't cut off everything. Here's the simple truth. Whether it's slow or fast, Indeed will go direct to the brands. They're going to go direct to the companies, bypassing the agency of record entirely, eventually to try to take all the money. It's death by 10,000 paper cuts, and it's slow. And they're hitting small market already. Mid-tier, they're starting to siphon some of those revenues, and then they're going to go after the bigger agencies. If you think you're safe, you're a fool. Positive outlook. Monster and CareerBuilder tried the same strategy over a decade ago against recruitment ad agencies. It didn't work. Hiring companies giving disposition data is really a privacy concern. I don't see a lot of them doing it. Indeed, in some narratives, are actually pitching that this is a way to help hiring companies stay compliant, which is complete and utter bullshit. Advice from Uncle Chad here. Agencies need to band together. All agencies, not just the big brands. Educate your clients. Use the internal candidate database hiring companies, right, that have already bought and spent millions of dollars on. Use the candidates in those damn databases, and then start to use the niche sites that are out there. I've talked to a ton of niche sites that are actually kicking ass right now, which is amazing. So what the actual fuck are you guys out there in recruitment agency land going to do about this? That's the big question. And that is Indeed doesn't think you're going to do anything.
And will they listen to Uncle Chad?
Was it the Chad?
The Chad was great.
Doubtful.
No, I reckon they'll listen to you, Chad. Everybody listens to this show, so they'll hear about it.
Might listen, but they won't do a goddamn thing. That's the problem.
Well,
there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
if they're not scared, because I get how they could be scared and think, shit, okay, I'm gonna have to do this. But like you said, if they band together and push back as a collective, then eventually I think Indeed will have to listen. They're banking on the fact that the individual agencies aren't going to do anything. So they do think they're going to get away with it, and I do believe you. But also, what I would say, if the agencies went back and do what you said and think about the privacy issue, they will realize that they can't say yes to this. That's a huge, huge problem. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
So here's my thing. Like, agencies are like running scared, as they should be, right? You know, revenue sources are drying up left and right. And now Indeed just says something they probably budgeted to rely upon is now, you know, half, 1/3 of what it was before. So, you know, banding together, I just think they're so worried about, you know, CYA and staying alive and getting thrown some kind of life raft for themselves that they probably don't even have the mindset or bandwidth to band together with others. I like the idea a lot. I'm with you. I just don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. I think the bigger concern is agencies need to pivot. Like, if you aren't spending some significant time right now thinking about how you're going to pivot your entire model with everything that's changing, that's to me the bigger concern, because just trying to hold on to money that's going to continue to dry up. Next thing's going to be layoffs. Then you're going to close down your agency. I think we're going to start to see it, right? Some of these smaller agencies just aren't going to make it with everything that's going on. So it's unfortunate. I think Indeed with this move is speeding up the death of some agencies for sure.
So
you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
there is an agency group coalition per se where they do get together and talk about these things. And I know for a fact they've talked about this. And I also know for a fact they've chosen to do fucking nothing.
And why's that?
Yeah. When they get together, it probably looks like the scene in Alien when the guy who gets the parasite in his belly, the thing comes out and what he's taken in is killing him, because that's what Indeed is doing. They're planting this parasite into agencies, and eventually the alien's going to come out and like kill them all, and they don't realize it. If Indeed is going to make their grand plan work, they have to get people to let them in to their ecosystem. They have to let them into the ATS. I'll give them this. It's pretty smart to go to the agencies, because most employers go to their agency and they say, tell me what we should do. And if their agency says you need this new Indeed thing, they'll be like, okay, I pay you to make those decisions. I'm going to go with it. They might not even know that the agency is getting strong armed by Indeed with incentives financially, or who knows what else is going on behind the scenes. But they're starting with, let's be honest, the weakest, you know, the wounded llama in the jungle is what they're going after first. That tier 2 agency, they're fighting for their lives. Their head is on a swivel, fearful that any day their client's going to go to Shaker or some other competitor, and they'll do anything to keep them. So they don't want to piss off Indeed, which, let's also be honest, is a cash cow for them, because they're feeding money and getting money back in fees. So Indeed is definitely the evil genius on this one, going after the lowest hanging fruit, the weakest link. When they start going to the agencies and the Shakers, like, that's going to be really interesting, because those guys handle big clients, big accounts.
Yeah.
But for Indeed's grand plan to work, they have to get at least like 50% like acceptance of this stuff into the system. Otherwise it doesn't work. So they're going to keep twisting arms. They're going to keep doing whatever they have to do to get this thing going. Otherwise, they're in real trouble, I think, as a business, because their grand plan doesn't work unless everybody plays.
Well, remember back in the newspaper days when newspapers died and all of the agencies made so much money off of that newspaper revenue, back to kind of what JT had said. Those agencies, the ones who lived, evolved, right? And we're going to have to see agencies evolve out of the huge dependence on Indeed, right? And we know, in talking to many big talent acquisition professionals who work on the technology side, that they want the brands, the companies, the hiring companies, they want to get away from Indeed. And I remember that's exactly how they felt about Monster and Career Builder when Monster and Career Builder got to this spot. So hopefully we're starting to see a cycle. Indeed's going to get kicked in the nuts. They're not going to die anytime soon, kids. But we'll start to see other players come up.
Yeah, it's moving from hubris, just sort of a, hey, we're the best in town, you're going to use us no matter what, to become like a bully situation where we're the biggest swinging dick, you're going to do what we say or else. And historically, that doesn't usually work out very well for the bully.
Emotional damage.
Emmy, did you have a thought?
Yeah, I'm quite interested because, Chad, you said there's this coalition of agencies that are already talking about this, but they seem to be burying their head in the sand. They seem to be just giving up and saying, hey, from the sounds of it, I'm just going to have to roll over and do what Indeed is saying. Are they trying to find a solution? Are they trying to find a way to kind of get one over Indeed? I don't understand why they're giving up. This is what I don't get.
Well, I think that some of the bigger agencies, first and foremost, they, with their portfolio, they have time, and they can kind of stave off what's happening to some effect, and they haven't been hit yet with this whole 10%, 15% bullshit, right? So they don't have to do anything, and they have the power. And if these small agencies die, so what? I mean, it's just competitors that are gone, right? And
consolidation.
or they get to acquire those, right? So I think there is a strategy for the larger agencies to do nothing right now. But the problem is there's a lot of siphoning that's going to be happening. And if Indeed does start going direct to companies, and they have, and they will continue, and they start getting some pretty big portfolios, what's going to happen then? So that just from watching what happened during the newspaper days to now, it feels very reminiscent.
Yeah. If you're a tier 2 agency, again, you're month to month, like your survival, this 5% reduction, that's literally like life or death for a lot of these agencies. And at a minimum, it's how many people do we have to lay off because we're not willing
just to stay afloat.
Yeah. So it's very uncomfortable to uncomfortable. Which one are they going to choose? There's really no win situation.
True, but surely they should realize that as an individual agency, there's not much they can do, but they should recognize the power in their collective. And that that's why I'm quite surprised that they're going, okay, I'm gonna roll over. I'm gonna do what Indeed said.
I mean, it's not a union. Yeah. They all have their separate, income statements. They don't pull the money.
Yeah. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I'm thinking, come on, fight the good fight. Don't let the Indeed monster kind of roll over them.
I love the British optimism that Emmy always brings to the show. Let's see where you are on this story, Emmy. So in 2023, IBM laid off over 8,000 employees. A lot of them in HR, actually, replacing them with an AI chatbot. This one was called Ask HR to handle tasks like payroll and benefits queries. This led to a 3.5 billion productivity gain, with the AI managing 11.5 million queries just in 2024. However, 6% of tasks still needed human intervention due to complexity or emotional nuance. By 2024 and 25, IBM rehired a similar number of workers for roles in software engineering, sales, and marketing, where human creativity and judgment were essential and not AI-able, if you will. Score one for the humans at IBM, JT. What's your take?
Yeah, so I couldn't find any data to support that 8,000 people have been hired back after 8,000 people have left off.
I probably hallucinated it.
I looked for it. I couldn't find it. I think that there was a bit of a spin on that article, which I understand. I think IBM did exactly what it set out to do. So you lay off 8,000 people that they feel are expensive, and let's face it, humans are unreliable. You bring in AI that can work 24 hours a day, is a flat fee, doesn't talk back, doesn't ask for raises. You figure out what it can and can't do. And now you come back in and you go hire the best and the brightest thinkers, right? I keep talking about the second renaissance, who want to come in and, really build things with it, but at a cheaper rate. Because there's so many people in the marketplace, right? Not only bringing back far fewer people, but these great minds are coming in at a lower rate. And so I think we're just going to see many, many, many companies do this exact same thing. And, that just proves it works. I saw 70 roles open. I think, Chad, you mentioned, but maybe they're hiring 10 people per role, or maybe more. That's maybe 700, 2,000 jobs that they're going to hire, but that's not 8,000. And so to me, it just reinforces what we've seen all along. Where do I think these other workers are going to go? I do believe that AI in the next 24 months, we're going to see so many new agile companies start that are going to need these brains and minds. Again, I think we're going to wake society up and stop getting off the hamster wheel of the full-time job with benefits and I'll do whatever my employer tells me, and start to think for myself and how can I monetize my mind and who can I hook up with and what can we create. And I think some really cool stuff's going to come out of this, where people's brains are going to turn back on and they're going to move forward and enjoy the stuff that they do. It's just not happening right now. We're going to have a painful 12 to 24 months while that transition happens.
So
just my take.
Do you think this was a concerted effort by IBM to have a layoff under the cloud cover of AI and then hire back people that were more, I guess, a better fit for the new world of AI and the human skills, the soft skills? Is that what I heard that you're saying, that this was an evil plan by IBM?
No, I liken it to this, right?
People?
Like,
okay.
No, like, have you ever gotten, you're sitting there and you've got a monthly bill at your house, and it's expensive and you hate paying it. And all of a sudden somebody comes along one day and says, I can do that and more for 1/100th of the price. We're all going to do it. We have budgets to want to save money. But businesses are no different. They're in business to make money. They look at it. There's no, thinking about the human. It's just, this is how the business is run. I'm going to free that money up and I'm going to figure out later what I need to hire back. It's business. That's not personal. It's business. And we hear that all the time. I just think that was the plan. We could call it layoffs because they're just thinking, what am I going to do with these 8,000 people? I don't see my business going in that direction. So let's cut it and then we'll figure it out later. It's just how I see it. And certainly with the companies that I've spoken to who don't want to go on the record about this, that's just how it's looked at up in the boardroom.
I get his approach, because like JT said, they're a business. They're trying to increase revenue. They're trying to cut costs. AI will help you to do that. AI will automate tasks. What AI can't do yet, maybe it can do in the future, but right now it can't automate an entire job. And when I talk about an entire job, I'm talking about, like we said, the human side, the strategy skills, the strategic skills, the empathetic skills, the ability to develop client relationships, the ability to understand a product. That is not what AI can do at the moment. So using AI to get rid of tasks and cut a whole bunch of jobs and rehiring people, a smaller number of people who can focus on those particular areas, I think that makes good business sense. That's the way that I think the world is actually going. It does mean that organizations are going to have to focus on role redesign because roles will change. And I think lots of people have said it, AI doesn't necessarily take away jobs, but it does change jobs. So IBM's probably thinking about, okay, I got rid of these bunch of people, but I still need people who can handle these complex human skills that AI cannot do. Maybe he didn't think about that in advance.
There's also probably some tech that sort of the traditional coder, the quantum stuff and the AI stuff. Like there's probably a level of, we need really high-end, high-paid people as well as the nuanced human people. And it's these middle folks that are suffering. There might be some stuff at the top end as well. Chad, what are your thoughts?
Hey, first off, can we give a big applause to IBM's Ask HR platform, who boosted their internal net promoter score from -35 to +74? I mean, that's a holy shit moment, right? I mean, this isn't just about job seekers going into a black hole.
Negative score. Jeez.
Right? I mean, job seekers go into a black hole. What about employees who need answers about shit, right? Well, they're now the net promoter score because of this Ask HR. Is actually working. I mean, IBM's CEO said the cost savings from the automation will be reinvested into higher value roles. Our total employment has actually gone up. You take a look at their website. They've got over 4,000 jobs that are open. I don't know how many they've actually hired back since, but they have over 4,000 jobs open. So now IBM is seeing increases in hiring for software engineers, sales, and marketing areas. What the article is also calling creativity in complex decision-making roles. Doesn't say anything about empathy, but there's also the empathy that's in there, right?
Yeah.
And we've been asking ourselves, where are all these new jobs that AI is going to be creating? What are they going to look like? And it feels like this could prospectively be, unless it's a Klarna moment, this could be a view into at least the first step of what we could be seeing. Again, they're much higher value roles. That's what I feel that I'm hearing right now. But this, again, back to JT's, trust but verify. I don't trust any of these motherfuckers. Every time I hear a company talk about, we're using AI to do this, we find out like 6 months later, that was all bullshit, right? So I am very hopeful. I'm going to be on Emmy's side for a minute, very hopeful. I need some trust but verify.
Yeah, and back to JT's numbers, and I get looking at the data, but there are other companies. You mentioned Klarna, Chad. Klarna made a lot of noise about everyone's gone. We're going to have an AI CEO at some point, and they are hiring back people. We talked about Duolingo recently. Similar thing. We can lay off all these people, and they're hiring back folks. So a recent survey by OrgView found that 55% of corporate leaders who conducted AI-driven layoffs ended up regretting it, often due to underestimating the human needs and also the human sort of what humans were giving to the equation. So I do think, regardless of numbers, there's a good number of companies that have made the decision to go all in on AI and are having a little bit of a hangover on that decision. And
they're trying to Twitter this shit, just like you were talking about months and months and months ago. Everybody's going to try to Twitter this shit. They're going to try to go 75% down. As soon as AI came in, they're like, oh, look, we can Twitter this shit. And now they're getting smacked in the fucking face.
But 60% of the time,
Bruh.
It works every time.
I would just say, though, that nobody ever criticizes the decision to save money temporarily and then have to go back and, you might have a hangover, but you can at least afford the aspirin, dare I say, for that hangover and be able to, get better. Whereas trying to hang on to everybody, burning cash and trying to invest in AI, they just, they don't see that as good business sense. So, yeah, trust but verify. I'm with you on that, Chad. And I think we're going to see a lot more orgs end up this way. And that means a lot of cool positions, thoughtful, cool, interesting positions are going to be coming for people, just not for everybody. I think that's what people have to recognize right now.
Just the tip.
Guys, take a quick break. Listen to the ads because there's no show without the ads.
Subscribe. Come on.
At Shaker Recruitment Marketing, our comprehensive services include branding, talent attraction, MarTech, and analytics, empowering you to achieve your recruitment marketing goals. We believe in doing things the right way, delivering the right message through the right activation, achieving the right conversion. For us, business is deeply personal. Our legacy is built on relationships. Together with our people, clients, and partners, we've been shaping the world of talent for over 70 years.
All right, kids. Business Insider dropped a story this week on the rising number of job scams. Job seekers are getting ripped off to the tune of thousands, with ripoffs originating on LinkedIn primarily. Scammers exploit AI in desperation in a tight job market, with job scam losses rising from 90 million to 501 million from 2020 to 2024. JT, you talk to a lot of job seekers who are hurting right now. LinkedIn job scams aren't helping. Your thoughts?
They aren't. Yeah. Raise your hand if you've gotten a text. I usually get them on Sundays every week from a recruiter at Indeed, from a recruiter at LinkedIn, right? Who has an amazing job. I can WhatsApp them. It's $300 a day. I have people every day in our platform saying, do you think this is legit? No. You know? And then, the story that came out this week, the level at which these scammers are going to get into people's bank accounts and to drain them is horrifying and horrifyingly effective, And so these are already people that have been out of work a long time, counting on every penny, draining 401ks, and then this happens. And so psychologically, how do they even come back from it, right? Because now it's just humiliating. On top of that, I've been hopeful and been burned. So, buyer beware out there. Again, I would ask everyone that listens to this podcast, you can help people by spreading the word about scams, how to look for scams, how to be careful, how to check. We just have to be telling people because they when you want something to be true, you're going to look the other way. You're going to put those rose-colored glasses on and go, no, it's okay that I never saw that hiring manager on camera. No, it's okay that I've never really talked to somebody live. It's really okay that I give them my bank account. We got to educate people on this. And you might be thinking, well, gosh, these job seekers are so stupid. They're not. No. They're not. These scams are sophisticated. And again, like I said, they're in a very vulnerable place to want to look over the finer things. So
there might be a wee problem, boys.
To your point, traditionally, these scams were for the less educated, or at least that was the perception. And look, 60% of Americans can't read beyond a 6th grade level. So there was this sort of comfort level that educated people had that this can't happen to me. I can see the misspellings, I can see the bad grammar. And if you got stuff 10 years ago, it was obvious, like the Nigerian prince, is a scam, right?
It's not just the Nigerians, by the way.
I just triggered him. All right, sorry.
Yeah. The Hoosier
Brazilian, the Brazilian,
the Hoosier Prince.
I'm not picking on Nigeria. But so the two people in the story, one was college educated and the other had an MBA. And AI is taking this up a notch because all the grammar's correct, all the company stuff, the logos, everything looks so legit that people are getting into a false sense of security that it's all real. So buyer beware, to JT's point. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And certain things to me are easy red flags. Like if someone is sending you a check to buy something and they tell you buy it from here, that could be a red flag. If something is crypto, it could be a red flag. If something is connect with us on WhatsApp, it could be a red flag. So there are still a few obvious ones that you should be looking at. But yeah, this is no longer for the uneducated, the old or whatever, the people that don't know any better. This is kind of hitting and going after everybody. And also they're going after identity theft, because not only are they scamming you from, your money, but then they want you to, as a job seeker, give you data or give them data, which then they can steal your stuff. One of the woman in the story had the IRS, knocking on her door because they had filed a tax form in her name. So be careful out there, everybody, for sure.
100%. And just to follow on both your points, JT and Joel, you were saying that people need to be educated. People need to know the red flags to look out for. And I definitely do think that employers should take a bit of responsibility in terms of letting candidates know what to look out for. They understand that it's a crappy market. They understand that people are anxious. They understand that candidates are desperate for jobs. And when they are in that situation, they're more likely to overlook the red flags and just go, okay, this is slightly dodgy, but no, surely it's okay. So companies need to, on the career site, clearly say these are the things to look out for. When they're talking to candidates in the interview process, talk to them about what they're doing as an organization to prove that they are actually a genuine organization. Platforms like LinkedIn, obviously, they're already doing things like, verifying that this is a real job. It doesn't work in all cases, but it goes some way to helping candidates. I just think I agree, there needs to be that bigger push and not put the onus all on the already anxious candidate to know what to look out for, because they're more likely to miss it in that heightened state.
So real quick, Facebook, we had Cambridge Analytica, and that impacted elections, not just in the US, right? Instagram has been noted to push teen suicide. X had mega Hitler. LinkedIn job scams. I mean, we can't even get governments in many cases to take the steps to protect their citizens that we need to do. This can't just be a job seeker doing more research. It's got to be employers doing their job, and it's got to be the government, because the government is there to protect their citizens. The problem is we're falling down on all fucking fronts. The job seekers are not doing their research because they're really excited because they've been out of a job for 6 months, right? And it's really hard for them to actually put food on the table. They're incredibly anxious. They're not doing the research. The employers don't give a fuck. And the government, depending on what government you're talking about, they're doing nothing, right? So until we get that three-legged stool pulled together, we're gonna continue to fall down, and this shit's gonna continue to happen, and that's the sad part.
Yeah.
And everybody, don't fall for the scam that I did, believing that nachos were a diet. Who's ready for a dad joke?
All right.
What did the fish say when it hit the cement wall?
Slap. No.
Damn.
Oh God. Oh Lord.
You're welcome. We out.
We out.
Thank you for listening to, what's it called? A podcast. The chat. The cheese. Brilliant. They talk about recruiting. They talk about technology. But most of all, they talk about nothing. Just a lot of shout-outs of people you don't even know. And yet you're listening. It's incredible. And not one word about cheese. Not one. Cheddar. Blue. Nacho. Pepper jack. Swiss. So many cheeses and not one word. So weird. Anywho, be sure to subscribe today on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That way you won't miss an episode. And while you're at it, visit www.chatcheese.com. Just don't expect to find any recipes for grilled cheese. It's so weird. We out!